COVID-19, cancer, death, nurses in the medical field, you have to stay tuned. Nurse Kerrie, let them know where they can find you.
Yes. You guys can find me on Instagram at beyond.the.matrix.nurse. From there, you can go to the link in my bio, which leads you to my business website.
Guys, get passionate for what you do. There's never been a more important time in the world to speak out and do the research. Make sure you stay tuned. Check it out.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump, full of deep into the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. Paranoi radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
All right. Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Trebles Garcia. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing that you could do for the show today is word of mouth. Check us out at paranoiradio.com. And do not forget that, guys, we don't need, it's still June. I think it's still June, guys. It's the last day of June. I've recorded all of these episodes that are dropping out in June. So if you hear me say this, don't get tired of it. Just check up on your boys. We don't need no more brothers or sisters offing themselves. We need people living fulfillful lives, walking with Christ and with greatness. Make sure you check out paranoiradio.com. And if you have been contemplating or entertaining the idea of suicide, go to paranoiradio.com. You don't need to subscribe or anything. There's a 24/7 life button there. You could chat, text, or call somebody and put your burden on somebody else. All you got to do is belong. So make sure, guys, I've gone through it. After addiction, after drinking, sometimes your family gives you overwhelming stress. You lose a family member. I myself lost my mom 2 years ago, and I dove my nose into a bag of meth. So I could tell you right now, the restoring your body and conserving your thoughts, you conserving your emotions, and all of that stuff that gets put together, the withdrawals, make you want to off yourself. And sometimes all you got to do is belong. So because you guys open up your hearts and open up your ears and you allow me to speak with you, I'm giving you the same opportunity. Takes 10 more seconds of life. Do not off yourself. Also, check out Cryptid Warfare Operations. If you guys have been paranormally activated, Cryptid Warfare Operations gives you the guidelines and the tools to make sure you deal with those pesky critters. And check out Ali Christine. Ali Christine also gives you the tools and the medicinal and the holistic healing to deal with parasites. I like to say that parasites are demons out here, and we might just touch on that today because we have an amazing episode lined up. Make sure you check us out and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Now, let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Please give a warm welcome to my next special guest. She's referred by me by Dan Metcalf. Thank you so much, Dan Matt. Shout outs to you. Please give a warm welcome to Kerrie, Nurse Kerrie from Beyond the Matrix Wellness. How are you?
I'm great. How's it going, Treble?
It's going great. Thank you so much for being here. I see that you're on fire on your posts. You're one of these people that are actually in the field, boots on the ground, kicking ass, and also speaking about it. Beyond that, also, I want to thank you for your service. You're doing a great, amazing job. Because of people like you, I get to do this and get to be free behind this mic and live a privileged life. So thank you so much for what you did in the past. Thank you so much for what you continue doing today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to have a talk.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
So on Instagram, they can find me at beyond.the.matrix.nurse. And from there, I have a link in my bio that goes directly to my business website, Beyond the Matrix Wellness. So they can find me there. And then when they go to my website, they can go to any of my links. I have a YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So those are the places that I can be found.
Amazing. What is it that you have for sale? What do you do? What are you pushing? Let the world know.
Yeah, so basically I have coaching services where if you sign up for a 90-day protocol, which is a detox protocol, and it's basically a transformation, basically a whole body transformation where for 90 days, we go through a process where we detox heavy metals, we detox parasites, the demons, and glyphosate, which is basically all the shit that they spray on our food that poisons us and gives us cancer and leaky gut, inflammation, all that stuff. So it has been scientifically proven to get rid of that. And also candida. So, and it just basically is a good liver flush. And the important thing when you do a detox is you have to make sure your body is flooded with essential minerals and vitamins. A lot of people, unfortunately, they go find things on the internet that they could detox from, but they don't give the body the support that it needs nutritionally. And then they start to have detox symptoms. So I joke with my friends that I'm kind of like the guinea pig because I've been going on this wellness journey, and I'd be like, oh, I just tried this thing. And then, 4 days later, I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. It's terrible. I have a terrible headache. And, I'm on the toilet and I feel like shit. So don't do that one. Let me just continue to find what works. So I finally found a protocol that works. And it's very gentle. And not only does it detox everything, it is a liver flush. So, which is really good. It just resets your gut. It's good for weight loss. And a lot of people that have autoimmune find that they're going into remission with their autoimmune because all the inflammation has been dealt with. So, and I like to coach people through it. I don't charge anything extra for my one-on-one services. I'm really passionate about it. But if they buy this protocol, then they have access to me. And, it's a 90-day journey. And in fact, I loved it so much that I just continued it. I'm still on it and I'm continuing to build lean muscle. And I feel great. Like I'll be 50 this year and I don't feel it.
What? You look
Yeah.
great. You look great, man.
I know. Well, it's because I've been doing this protocol and other things too, which we can get into. But I really believe that nutrition and what you eat and what you put on your body is going to reflect in the way you look and the way you feel. So,
What
but
a way to
that's
make me feel bad. I had to go to Jack in the Box for a nice coffee.
Well, hey, that's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't go out on a weekend and, go to a restaurant and get, something
Indulge.
that's not the greatest for me. But as long as you're consistent and you're not eating like shit all the time, which is what I was doing, which I'm sure that's what led to my autoimmune as well, amongst other things. I'm thinking back, I think the trigger was the flu shot. So I don't get any vaccines anymore, but the eating like shit didn't help either. So
My wife has lupus, so it's all the autoimmune situation that people go through, man. I'm telling you, and her inflammations go up and down, and she's under 4 different medications, 4 different specialists: the skin, the liver, the stomach.
yeah.
It's a pain in the butt, man. It's hardcore, and I don't see many good results. I see more problems sometimes with her hormonal disbalance, if that's even a thing, right? Because of all the medication, and then everybody else is a punching bag for her. And I get it because her body's under stress and under attack. And I
Right.
think it all starts with the gut health, and that's very important to emphasize here.
Right. Like 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So if your gut is pissed off, then your body's going to be pissed off. So I, I would love to get her on that protocol to see if it works for her.
Mm.
You know,
I'm
I-
thinking about it.
just
Yeah.
the whole thing with the medications and, one medication is to treat the symptom of another. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, we'll have to talk.
We will. But aside of that, guys, make sure you check her out, Beyond the Matrix Wellness on Instagram. The link is in the bio. Do not forget to share and subscribe. We are on YouTube now too. I hate doing this, but I have to keep reminding you guys that we're on YouTube because you guys are too lazy watching ads on TikTok instead of going to the search bar and taking 5 seconds of your day to search. So like, share, subscribe. And if you haven't already done so, like, share, and subscribe. I said it 3 times already. I'm not saying it again. All right. Nurse Kerrie, I see that you are in the scrubs, bro, talking about cancer. That was your most recent post. That's the one I just shared. Let's start there. And then we're going to dive deep into you kind of like briefed there. You already sprinkled the vaccine situation. Cancer. We all know it's a freaking business. We all know people are making tons and tons of money on it. And they don't want to heal you because then their little golden sack, stops producing.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you go to the hospital, they give you their protocol, which is cancer treatment would be radiation or chemotherapy. And how many people have you seen on social media that come out and say, hey, like I had my cancer go into remission with fasting. I did a 90-day water fast, or I did, I went and lived in a jungle and did cold plunging. Or, people, what I'm promoting is the old repurposed medications, which is the ivermectin, fenbendazole, mebendazole, and vitamin treatment.
Mm.
And so when you go to the hospital, you have to give a patient informed consent. And to me, informed consent is giving the patient all of the options. If they want to go on a 90-day water fast, then they should be given that opportunity and that chance, and that decision to be made for them, what's best for them. But unfortunately, when you go to the hospital, like you said, they're going to give you the suggestions that are going to make the hospital the most money, because this is a business. And what's frustrating for me as a nurse, but still in the scrubs and still in the system, and I've really struggled with that lately, because it just becomes harder and harder to go there every day, and kind of I feel like I'm like going into like that medical matrix where people are not given all the options. And I have to walk very carefully with that, because there's some people, if I try to start talking to them about like, hey, have you heard of X, Y, and Z? You have to really assess if they're even ready for that conversation, or if they're just so asleep and just so enamored in the system that they'll just look at you, and then you break that trust with the patient. So it really is got to kind of like tiptoe around that. It's a balancing act of like, okay, is this person somebody that I can actually have this conversation with? So, but I feel like as I'm still working in the system, I can still continue to help people, and obviously expose the wrong and bring light to the situation, and expose the truth of the fact of the matter of what's happening behind the scenes. So yeah, so patients are not given all of their choices. They're just given the ones that make the hospital the most money.
Mm.
And what's even worse, honestly, is the side effects from these treatments. Patients have to quit their jobs. They can't physically work anymore. There's financial stress, because a cancer diagnosis is a very expensive diagnosis. People go into bankruptcy, they lose their homes, they have to move in with family. I mean, it's a whole thing. And so if we can give patients a choice of using old repurposed drugs that that don't have all these terrible side effects, and they can continue to work and live their life, then why can't we offer them that opportunity? But every time you look around, there's a new cancer center being built. Like there's one in South Florida now, huge cancer center, big monstrosity being built. And they're going up everywhere, because they realize cancer is a business. But you don't see them putting up these big freestanding behavioral health centers, do you? Because there's no funding in that, there's no money in that to be made, because the patients that generally are in that population, just they don't have the resources, like say an executive that gets a cancer diagnosis, that's going to take every red cent out of their bank account and do whatever they have to do to not die of cancer.
Mm. You know what's funny? Talking about cancer. I mentioned in the beginning of the show that my mom passed about 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, to cancer. She had spine cancer. You know what's funny? No one gets stage 4 cancer overnight. No one. No one. That doesn't happen. So, I mean, to my knowledge, and I'm not a nurse, by all means, I
Right.
haven't had any training. But my mom, this is kind of like where we're gonna start diving into the deep end of the pool. My mom got the Johnson & Johnson jab, and as soon as she got it, bro, 2 months later, she was in the bed, diagnosed, and we were like, what the heck? Now I don't mind you, I don't live with my parents, but when my brothers and sisters that do live with my parents told me, I was like, what the heck? I'm gonna go see her, and I was like, what happened? When did this happen? And everybody's like, we all got the shots. She got a booster. And I was like, yeah, that's what happened. And I'm the only conspiracy theorist in my family, which is why I don't think they love me anymore. But still, I blamed it on the on the jab.
Right.
Ever since I've known my mom. My mom was the most healthy old lady in the planet, bro. She would cook, she would clean. She was an Alden. She was always kicking ass. But as soon as she got the jab, she collapsed. Her bones got so fragile the last time I saw her that when she she was having an episode. I caught her right before she fell, and I was right there on the floor with her, just caressing her. And then the paramedics showed up to pick her up, and when they tried picking her up from her arms, they snapped her arms. They broke
Oh
her arms, and it
no.
wasn't because they grabbed her hard. It was because her bones were so, fragile. They were dust. 2 weeks later, she
Oh,
died. So I know for a fact
wow.
that that's a business. And not only cancer and the pills that they give you to treat the cancer and everything else, it's also at this point, like, to get rid of the old people, I think. And who knows? Everybody lost somebody to COVID, bro. Everybody was impacted by COVID. They didn't only steal our identities, but they stole our freedom. They exchanged the word freedom with safety, and then everybody got manipulated. Their emotions got manipulated. We stopped going out to grounding ourselves. We stopped showing our bodies to the sun. We stopped showing our love with each other and our contact, our physical contact with our family members, and et cetera, and et cetera. It was a hamster wheel of fuckery. And yeah, so I kind of want to dive into that. Is there any connection to cancer and the jabs from 2020?
Absolutely. I've been following Dr. Makis, who was one of the authors on the protocol, the hybrid orthomolecular protocol for cancer. He's
Mm.
runs a cancer clinic in Canada, and he's they've been freezing his bank accounts and extorting him and doing all kinds of demonic things to him. And he's come out and said that, there's definitely there's a connection. They're calling it turbo cancer, which that term turbo cancer didn't exist before
Get
20.
out, dude.
Now,
What?
yeah, right. Oh yeah, turbo cancer. That's like, yeah, that's a whole new thing now. But it's so obvious, and it's like clown world. Like, look what happened to humanity. This bioweapon that was put into people. People were tricked. People were, threatened with their livelihood. They were, just here's a cheeseburger, you know, get the jab. My daughter, I'll never forget, she was away at college and she called me. She's like, "Hey Ma, they're offering me $100 to get the COVID vaccine." And think about how poor college kids are. $100 is like, hell yeah, right? So I said,
Party
"Oh,
money.
hell no." I said, "I will pay you $100 to not get it." And I sure as hell, I transferred money into her account. And it was so quick. I said, "Please do not get it. Please do not get it." And all of those kids were bribed. That's bribery. If you have to be bribed to get something, there's a red flag. And there were just so many red flags with it. And
Mm.
I was blessed enough to follow Jeff Childers. He's
Mhm.
actual Gainesville native, and he has a Substack called Coffee and COVID. And I was following him during the whole time when this freaking circus about the vaccines was out, and he was following what was going on in Israel. They were like 6 months ahead of us when it came to the jabs, and he would show all the data. Like, this is okay, so these are the people getting vaccinated, right? Because pretty much everybody over there got vaccinated, and he showed the data that they're getting reinfected with COVID. So number one, it wasn't effective. And then he's proceeded to show the data of people just dropping dead. So nor were they safe. So I pretty much, and I really trust his discernment, because he was basically calling it out from the beginning when they had all the people on TV in China, like dropping dead in the streets, that
Mhm.
propaganda. And he was calling that out from the beginning. So I just was really blessed, and he's a Christian. So I just felt really safe with him, and I trusted his discernment. And of course, there were a couple of friends I was talking with and this and that, but
Mhm.
of course I prayed about it. Of course, I didn't just trust man. I didn't trust him. It was like, I still had to pray about it and ask God about it. And so it was a definite, a lot of pressure, and we're seeing the repercussions of it now. And that's why I'm even more passionate about getting this protocol out, because people deserve to know. and
Mm.
and they're not being presented with this choice, and it is, it's backed by science. I mean, it's been vetted, so it's peer reviewed,
Mm.
and it's not a conspiracy. So it's become like it's like fueled my passion again to help people, um, to get that information out. So I take a lot of time to create content on Instagram, and I don't I don't get paid for it. I just know it's the right thing to do,
Mm.
because just helping people is what it just brings me so much happiness, and just loving on people. So when people go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, I'll send them the actual protocol and then a list of the providers that are actually using the protocol.
Mm.
So I just send them that, and I don't charge them for it or anything. I think it's just the right thing to do for humanity. And that's why we're all here, right? And we're all here to help people. We're not here for our egos. We're not here to just go to our 9 to 5 and then have a little fun on the weekends. Like, you got to find your purpose. And so now that I found my purpose, I'm trying to inspire people to find theirs.
It's never late to start, and there's never been a more important time of the world in our time in written history and human history to speak about these things. I like to say that the podcasters and social media presence and the influencers are now the mainstream. And if we unite, we could stick it not only to the man, to legacy media, but to the information war. It's very important that we take the time, guys, to research this stuff. Guys, we've all, like I said before, we've all lost someone to the COVID jab, to the COVID, and all this stuff. And maybe I shouldn't say this because it's on YouTube, but guys, we all know deep inside that this did not sit well. Our kids were, their identities were held. Hidden from the world. Then they started injecting themselves the propaganda. They started injecting the propaganda of having multiple genders and multiple agendas, and confusion of who you really were and who are you connected with, the Almighty Creator. So you start seeing the breadcrumbs of the bullshit, and you start saying like, okay, well, they injected our family, they separated us, we have to connect through Zoom, right? They have to go to school through Zoom, they can no longer play outside. You see what I'm saying? Now you're hitting their faces. There's no more oxygen in their bodies, and then you start bombarding them with, "Hey, are you gay? Hey, if you're gay, you could you don't have to tell your parents. You could just come directly to us." And it starts becoming, bro, like a mountain of shit, bro, that you have to deal with. And then the parents are like, "Okay, well, now we have to get back to work, and I don't have a babysitter anymore." So it's just, oh my god, bro. Especially the single parents. Do you know how many divorces happened during COVID, bro? I used to work in the adult industry, and I used to get a job. How do you say this? There were interviews for to sell lingerie because sex was selling so much, but it wasn't sex with your partners. It wasn't sex. It was cheating sex, bro. It was a bunch of people trying to buy sex for their assistants and trying to buy stuff. So it's bro. It was a demonic attack in the spirit, in the house, in your immediate household, and in your mental faculties, man. It was intense.
Well, I
Absolutely.
mean, absolutely. My boys were in school at the time. They're graduated now, but I'll never forget when they came home and they looked at me with disgust because they had to miss their sports. It was either a game or practice, I can't remember. But they're like, because you wouldn't let us get the COVID vaccine, we can't participate in
Wow,
sports.
look at that.
And it was like, well, I'm sorry, but you're not getting the COVID vaccine just so you can go play football. Um, but I'll just never forget the look. It's like, there's nothing worse than your actual child, your blood, looking at you in disgust. They
Mm.
were so pissed at me. And then the whole thing with the mask, I said, you don't need to wear a mask. And they were looked at me and they're like, but everybody else is wearing it. And I said, but you don't have to. I said, because we had some stuff pass in our county that at one point that we didn't have to wear the mask. And so it was like they were so brainwashed. So when they actually didn't have to wear it, they were still wearing it because everybody else was. And so
Mhm.
there was a lot, it was a demonic attack. There was a lot of turmoil within the family. And it was very difficult for me too, because their dad had an opposite stance as myself. So then you've already have that dynamic
Oh
of,
man, look at that.
right. So that was very stressful, because when X doesn't think the same way you do, and now you're in this crisis mode and you're trying to co-parent, it was very, very difficult. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
You
that
got
it
hit
was
by
very
it too, then.
challenging.
Oh yeah, you got
It
hit by
was
it too.
it was challenging, and of course, I was gone for that, the beginning. I was gone. I was in New York, and then I came back. I had to leave New York because of what was going on there, the murdering of patients.
Mm.
And but then when I came home, I was asked to go to Texas, and I knew Texas was a red state, and that they wouldn't be like, I felt like they wouldn't be following some of the same things as New York. At least I thought
Mm.
it. I thought so. So anyway, it was such a stressful time. And we still, to this day, here we are, 2025, nobody's in jail. There's been no accountability. People are getting diagnosed with cancer, autoimmune, myocarditis, dropping dead every day. And it's like, nobody's in jail. No, it just totally blows my mind how here we are and people are like, well, let's just forget that happened. Like, stop talking about
Oh
it.
no,
No,
dude. No.
no,
Mm-mm.
no, no. We're not doing this again. So what we need to do is we need to heal as a world. We need to start the healing process, but we can't do that until people have been held accountable, and an apology would be nice from somewhere. I mean,
At least acknowledge that you guys fucked up. Just
yeah,
acknowledge it,
like,
bro. You
yeah.
know?
I mean, just a couple of months ago, Anthony Fauci was in Sarasota giving speaking, a free man, and it was like to the tune of somewhere around $600 a person. So we went down there and we protested, and peacefully. And the fact that that man just gets to walk in there like nothing fucking happened, and all what he did, and people's lives are still affected. I have friends that are vaccine injured that have to live with this every single day, and being a nurse, going in the hospital, seeing the people come in that are all fucked up because of the vaccine, coworkers that are no longer with me. The list goes on, and there's just no accountability. So that's why I'm just so passionate about getting this information out and about speaking out. I feel like it's my purpose, and I feel like I have to do it to shine the light, I guess, if you will, on what happened, and try to just let people know, like, okay, we have to have accountability so that we can come together and move forward and start healing.
Have you ever been? Let me get a little personal. I hope you don't mind. Have you ever been threatened to lose your job? Has anybody ever told you you keep talking, keep walking this thin line? There's gonna be repercussions.
Yes. Before Governor DeSantis passed his legislation, it was like, you know, right at the last minute. Like, 'cause I remember going to work and they're like, okay, so yeah, we know that there's some possible legislation in the background, but as of right now, if you don't take this, um, you have to fill out a exemption, but it may not get approved.
Hmm.
Like, oh, how cute, right? So it was a threat, like, and it was coercion. Everybody was coerced into taking this, but I held the line. I stood my ground, and I basically said, you know what, if I lose my job, then I'll figure it out. The good Lord will take care of me. But a lot of people, even down to that last hour, like, there was people saying, okay, fine, I'll just get it. Even though there were people that held out, they were just, I think the pressure was just too much. And they just, that fear, the spirit of fear was all over the place.
Florida does not mess around.
Right.
I've
I mean,
seen
and
that.
so, yeah. And so then it was passed, and then it was like, everybody felt like they could breathe, but then there was still all, the whole circus going on in the country and worldwide. Florida was
Mhm.
one of the few that had their shit together, and
Mhm.
people fighting. So, I mean, I feel very blessed that I was in Florida, because, I mean, here I am in Florida going to the store with no mask on, and I see people on social media with, that are still following orders in, California, New York, and, a lot of the blue states. So I
Bro,
just,
I was
thank God I was in Florida.
I remember in the middle of COVID, bro, I think it was 21. There were so many people missing work that they had to move us around so that we can cover some areas. And I had some warehouse experience, so they told me, dude, can you help us out? This and yeah, dude, I'll do it. And then I went
Yeah.
back there and I started doing some heavy physical labor, which I enjoy many of the times. And then I took off my mask and I threw it and I just started working. I was by myself at the dock, man. And then my boss at the time shows up and he looks at me. He wasn't my boss. He was the supervisor of the warehouse at that time. And he shows up and he's like, I don't work there anymore. And he shows up, he goes, put your mask on. I'm like, dude, I'm by myself in the container. It's 105 inside this freaking bitch. What do you want me to wear a mask for? There's no one here to infect. Plus, aren't you vaccinated? You're not gonna get sick. Let me
Yeah.
die. Get out of here, stupid. It's hilarious.
All the, yeah,
Yeah.
critical thinking just went out the window. And that's what just totally amazes me, is because to be a healthcare professional, you actually have to take a critical thinking test, or you cannot get into nursing school and some other programs. You have to pass a critical thinking test. And it's like, when COVID happened, it was, all the critical thinking went out the window. Like, I
It's
remember
like someone
working.
went stupid, all right? Everybody got
I
stupid
don't know.
for a minute.
It was a program. Like, I remember asking coworkers, I'm like, why aren't we testing for the flu anymore? Did the flu go away? Like,
What
why are we just
happened?
testing?
Yes.
We're just testing
Oh
for
God.
COVID. And people were just like, I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just, follow along. I'm like, well, I'm asking questions. Why did we stop testing for the flu? And why in the beginning of the pandemic were they giving out hydrochloroquine? And then all of a sudden they stopped giving out hydrochloroquine when they
Hmm.
saw that it was working. So that's murder. Who's going to
Damn.
jail? Who's going to jail?
Whoa. Unfortunately, the powers that be. Money, every person has their price, and money really does rule. These people, even with the current administration, don't get me wrong, I'm a Trumper, guys, and I don't think that we're gonna have this type of justice. At least not now. This is gonna be in stages, the same laws that we have to bend by. How do you live by? These
Right.
people have to live by it. But the only difference is that these people have the means to buy themselves a team of lawyers to expand that time, to not go to jail immediately like we would, not get convicted. So for example, let's put the Epstein files. Not that I want to make the show about the Epsteins or make it about a government or political show, but you look at the Epstein files. These people know damn right that they're gonna get arrested. So what they do as soon as Trump went in, they started lawyering up. So by the time this dude wants to push out any type of content, they already fighting the court system. They're already fighting to keep their names under wraps to make sure that the story doesn't leak out and expand it to at least 6 to 7 years. That's what money buys you. It buys you time. So if people are like, "Oh,
Wow.
how come they didn't just get arrested?" Because they have to build the case to make it to the point where they're gonna stay in jail. Look what happened to Diddy. I'm about to drop a Diddy episode. By this time, it's already out, guys. He's gonna walk, bro. He's gonna walk. He's not gonna get convicted for sex trafficking, for rape, or he's gonna walk out a free man with all of his millions because they couldn't grab him on the right thing. They arrested him too soon. The investigation wasn't done correctly, and he's gonna walk and just be a freak. This guy's gonna get movie deals. He's gonna be more famous than ever, and selling sex. Perversion of, I mean, this is demonic. It's a demonic attack. It's normalization of stupidity and homosexuality. It's normalization of perversities. That's what it is. You could see the pattern when you just step back and look at it like, oh man, so it's the same thing with all of these people that really run the world. So yeah, man, I agree with you, and I don't want to take too much time here, but I do want to remind the people where they can find you. Nurse Kerrie, let them know
Yes.
one more time, please.
Yes. So they can find me on Instagram at beyond.the.matrix.nurse. And the link to my website is in my bio.
Guys, you could also find all of that stuff on the description of the show. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I want to thank you again for what you're doing out there. Boots on the ground. Make sure you check her out, her post, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know if she's on her break or her lunch break or after work, but she's kicking ass. I know she's saving lives, and she's also saving lives in the social media realm, in the digital world. Make sure you check her out, ladies and gentlemen. Description of the show. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Mad love and respect. Thank you so much, Kerrie, for being here. Shout outs to Dan McCaff. Shout outs to your family. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue the good fight. And we'll be talking soon. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
You too. Thank you so much. God bless you.